Good afternoon. This is Jeanette Martin of My BC Consulting. We are I just lost the person that was going to be coming on live. So I'm going to hang tough and hopefully she comes back. I am Jeanette Martin. Oh, here she comes back. Oh my gosh, that was exciting. We'll wait for Fatima to come back. Don't know what happened there, but technology, gotta love technology. It is time for the Where in the World Is, a ... W5 story session where I bring you connections, whether recent, long-term, or somewhere in the middle, and I get to know them a lot deeper and build better relationships by asking them the following questions: who, what, where, when, and why. So without further ado, who are you?
Hi, thanks for having me, Jeanette. I'm Fatima Zaidi.
So what 5 who hats do you wear in this life?
All right, so I am a speaker. I am a founder of my business, Project Instigate, but also the Biotope Leadership Model. I am a pet parent of birds and fish. I'm a wife. And let's see. Oh, and I'm also the president of my Rotary Club.
Ooh, some good stuff for me to unpack there. So what do you do as the president of the Rotary Club where you are?
Well, we facilitate meetings. So Rotary Club is a service club, and we work on making a positive impact in the community and in the world. And as many people know, Rotary, and some don't, but Rotary Club has been instrumental in their initiative to end polio around the world. And it's really exciting because this year, I believe there were only, I don't want to be wrong about the numbers, but I believe there were only 6 reported cases of polio around the world. And that's been a huge, huge, huge milestone. And we're expecting for polio to be eradicated in 5 years.
Well, that gives me the goosebumps, because that is just like amazing to celebrate. And that leads me to, what do you do? Project Instigate? What is that? What is that role in your life?
So Project Instigate is that, well, that's my business. Project means anything that sets your heart on fire, gets you jump out of bed in the morning, whatever you're really passionate about that moves you to your core. Instigate means to take action, to cause ripple effects, to make change around that. So that's why Project Instigate, and I do leadership development and leadership strategies. I also do a lot of speaking in that realm. But really, leadership development is my passion, creating leaders who inspire change, improve lives, and uplift humanity.
I normally ask 2, but there's the first one I want to go a little bit deeper into is, you say you're a speaker. What type of speaker are you?
So I'm a motivational leadership speaker. I do keynote speeches, not always keynote, but mostly I speak on leadership related topics, as well as motivational leadership as well.
So that leads us to where. So where on this big blue marble do you live, as well as where do you help people with, say, Project Instigate, and where have you spoken before?
So on the big blue marble, I love that. I live in Chilliwack, BC. And it's a beautiful town with lots of nature and outdoors, and I love it. It's a growing town as well. Where have I facilitated, or where have I spoken, right? I have been public speaking since I was 7 years old. It is my biggest passion. If I could wake up every morning and just be on a stage, that's my best life lived. So it's hard for me to nail down, but I'll tell you some of the most memorable talks I've delivered. One of mine was being a keynote speaker for the United Way, their annual Pathfinders event. And I specifically spoke on anti-bullying related initiatives there. I also did a TEDx talk in 2019, and that was around ending homelessness and how ending homelessness starts with inclusion. And my upcoming TEDx talk, which is going to be on February 19th, is specifically about a leadership model that I've developed called Biotope Leadership.
Ooh. So when did you decide that you, at 7, well, when is the age? So when did you decide that you wanted to build a business, build a life around your sense of leadership?
That's such a good question. For me, public speaking at age of 7, it started with wanting to speak at school assemblies. And that's kind of where it all started. And also my dad used to work at Iranian radio station. And one day I just took over the mic and I didn't want to let go of it. Leadership development in my life came in when I was 16. I was in high school and I was dealing with very severe bullying. I experienced verbal bullying, harassment, even physical bullying. Had, a kid try to weld my hand in electronics and metalworks class, and being physically bullied in gym class. And sometimes I'd have certain bullies who would walk up to my desk and just swipe all my belongings off the table. And I remember it was middle of summer, and I went to school wearing a jacket, a big, thick, warm jacket, and I was sweating. It was hot. We're talking middle of summer. And I was wearing a jacket because it has a lot of pockets, and I could keep all the stuff in the pockets so they don't get thrown in the garbage by bullies, right? And it was around that time where I was invited to attend a 2-day leadership training. I had no idea what it was at that time, but I went and I did that. It was with a local nonprofit organization, and I just fell in love with that process. And it was a whole new window, new door open to me. And from there, I went on to facilitate more anti-bullying stuff, working with new immigrants and refugees and doing other leadership development work. But it didn't become a business until recently. I have been doing leadership development for over 12 years, but I never charged anyone. I was either working for someone or just doing it out of the goodness of my heart. And it wasn't until I almost graduated from university thinking I want to be a lawyer, I realized at that point that I could actually make a business out of doing what I love to do. My whole life, I thought I have to take any odd job I can, whether it's retail, security, whatever, so that I can get by to be able to work on my passion. It wasn't until I was at least, I think, 25 or 22, something like that, that I realized my passion and my business don't have to be different things. Still took me a few years to really get there in terms of my mindset. So as a business owner and a paid speaker, I've only been doing that for maybe less than 5 years, but I have over a decade of experience doing it.
Wow. Wow. So Fatima, I love all my questions. This is the question that you send out to the world through all our actions that we do in this life. So what is your why in life?
My why in life is to spread more kindness and inclusion. I like to say my mission in life is to create, lead, or develop leaders who inspire change, improve lives, and uplift humanity. And that is my why too. There's 2 parts to my why. That's the inspirational part of it. I want to see more love, more kindness in the world. I want to see people become more confident in who they are and the magic that they bring to the world. But there's also the other side of it that isn't. So having worked with clients who have been at imminent risk of homelessness, there's this other part of the why. And it's that I don't want to be in that position. And if you watch my TEDx talk, I talk about how every single one of us can become homeless. Anyone can become homeless. And it was about destigmatizing homelessness and poverty, decriminalizing poverty in our society. But it's also what pushes me to do what I do. It's, taking responsibility and accountability for my life. But, circumstances happen, but that's two parts of my why. One is I don't want to be in a place where, I've seen people in the lowest point of their lives, right? And I want to do everything I can within my control to make sure I'm not in that situation. But the other part of me is driven from this vision for the world that is just so powerful, where people own their power. They become the best versions of themselves, and they feel like an empowered leader in whatever hats they wear, whatever capacity they're in.
What a beautiful why. So thank you so much, Fatima, for being my guest today. I definitely went deeper in our ship that we're building together in relation. I love that. Lately, I've been writing the word ship in bigger words, because I truly believe that if you think about a ship on the high seas, it takes many people in that ship to make it go. That a sailboat, you can sail the world by yourself. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather be in a ship of like-minded people that are changing the world, that are doing it with kindness, compassion, and a higher meaning than just. Fatima's contact information into the chat on the Facebook page afterwards, and get in touch with Fatima. Wow, I know there's even deeper words, programs, and stories connected to her W5 story. So thank you so much. I'll be back again next Monday at 1 o'clock for another edition of Where in the World Is ... a W5 story session. Thank you so much, everybody.